Hello! Welcome to another nice relaxing stream. Taking another bit of a break in between Dishonored games. So 80 Days is, I don't actually remember when it came out, a while ago. But it's kind of like a choose your own adventure game, which is super fun and it's really just story driven. But there's a lot of different outcomes. So let's get right into it. I have entered into the service of a new gentleman. It would seem he is a gambling man. Alright, we'll start in London. Let's begin. Monsieur Phileas Fogg returned home early from the Reform Club, and in a new-fangled steam carriage besides. I helped him down, and the iron-lunged, steam-driven horses clattered away. "Passepartout," he said, "we are going around the world." "Around the world, monsieur?" I asked, utterly astonished. I guess this guy's British, probably. I can't do a very good British accent. Let's see. "We shall circumnavigate the globe within 80 days." He was quite calm as he proposed his wild scheme. "We leave for Paris on the 8:25, in an hour." "You are in jest," I told him in dignified affront. "You make a mock of me, monsieur." "I am quite serious. Pack an altimeter and my evening jacket. There is not a moment to waste." I have funds, and my character is now polished. "Quickly, Passepartout, collect our things before we will be off." So we want his evening jacket and the altimeter, and we have enough time. So now this is, you can like trade things later on for more money, but you don't want to waste too much time. But I like all the shipping tables, because you never know what's gonna happen. And then we can do that. We'll go to Paris. Departing now. Oh, just made it. The mechanical horses raced past Piccadilly Circus and Pall Mall faster than a team of thoroughbreds. Even so, the whistle of the 8:25 was blowing as we pulled up to Charing Cross Station. "We have no tickets!" I exclaimed. "That does not signify," Monsieur Fogg remarked over his shoulder as he hurried toward the platform. "We must not miss this train." I dashed to the ticket booth, judging that there was a moment to spare, elbowing aside a few ladies and gentlemen who were ambling about as though they were on Brighton Pier and not a busy train station. "Two singles to Paris," I demanded breathlessly. The guard raised his pen with agonizing slowness. "Leaving tomorrow?" he intoned. "Leaving immediately," I insisted, "and hurry!" The whistle of the train shrieked once more. I drummed my fingers on the counter and cursed under my breath. From behind me I heard another whistle. The guard inscribed one ticket, then the other, with a painstaking hand, then passed them to me. The final whistle blew long and slow and damning. The 8:25 train was pulling away! jumped wildly for the guardrail and hauled myself aboard, one hand tickets clutched in the others. I confess, my friends, I had been an acrobat in my youth, before becoming a valet. Apparently the two professions were not so different as they seemed. We were passing Dartford when I located Monsieur Fogg in one of the compartments. He looked up briefly and returned to his newspaper. I told the ticket inspector that you would be appearing presently, he remarked. Oh, wrong person. Oh well. Unperturbed, your funds have gone down a little, but I am well heeled. I am at your service, Monsieur Fogg. Passepartout. Let's talk about the journey. But tell me, monsieur, what is the purpose of our journey? I have made a hefty wager, and I do not intend to lose. This journey will be most expensive, monsieur. Indeed, but we can earn a little from buying and selling our possessions as well, as we travel. Very good. London smog gave way to rolling hills and the pasture of the Kentish countryside, still untouched by the hand of technological advancement. Oh, this is like, steampunk. Monsieur Fogg read his paper while I recovered my breath. As afternoon turned inexorably into evening, I discovered that my master was one of those gentlemen who broke their silence rarely, if at all. A guard rapped on our door a few miles before Dover. We are about to submerge, he warned. Takes some people a bit funny, so watch out. Very good, I replied, as though submerging inside a 1,000-ton metal train was quite ordinary for me. If you feel claustrophobic, the guard replied, try running up and down the corridor. I always find the exercise helps. With that, he closed the door. Let's look out the window. I pressed my face to the window glass as the fins of the amphitrite's wheels extended with a hydraulic hiss. Night fell, and we plunged past the end of the track into the freezing water of the English Channel. Oh, my relationship with Fogg has improved slightly. Would you guys ever go on a train that went underwater? I think it would be so cool. The amphitrites plowed through the water overnight and splashed up onto wider gauge French tracks at Calais as dawn broke. Whoa, if I can read. Do you have a route in mind, monsieur? I asked as the water of the channel dried from the compartment windows. Every time I think about doing a British accent, I just, I can feel, Southern accent welling up. I don't know why French accent is so much easier for me. I am as yet undecided, my master admitted. The new canal has sped up the shipping route from Suez to Bombay, though perhaps we could take the Trans-Siberian Railway across Russia. Surely not Siberia, I exclaimed. It is so cold and grim, and I have a particular fear of bears. Then we would do well to buy furs, he replied, refraining from rolling his eyes. There are other alternatives. We may also travel overland and across the Black Caspian Seas. But which is the fastest? I believe, he said, that is what we shall put to the test. Parbleu! I scarcely knew what to think. We arrived at Paris Gare du Nord just after 1 o'clock. Automaton porters lifted our luggage and then our persons onto the platform with long, delicately filigreed iron arms. Paris, city of my heart. I was home, but not to stay. Okay, now this is the tricky part. You want to be able to find routes fairly quickly in case some of them leave. Now, I usually do the Oriental Express, so I'm gonna see about doing something different. Let's go to the market. Let's sell our wax cylinder. Chateau. Or if we go to Berlin, You don't want to spend too much money early on. Let's explore. Alright. Berlin is where we wanted to go to sell that wine. Oh, but if we're going south, should have thought of that. We had a few hours to spare. I asked Monsieur Fogg if I might enjoy my city before we leave. Indeed, and you should learn anything of note, be sure to relay it. I nodded and headed into town. Hold on guys, I'm gonna clean my glasses really quick so I can actually read. Alright. I nodded and headed into town. The talk on the streets was of one thing only, an enormous, elegant, oval stadium, constructed upon the green fields of Champ de Mars, and containing the technological marvels, art, amusement parks, and milling crowds of the World's Fair of 1872. I ventured inside the grand illuminated pavilions of the exposition. Should we go to the airship hangar or the artificer? Let's check out the airship hangar. I went west towards the airship hangar, past a booth with a husband and wife pair selling panoramic hot air balloon rides to eager tourists. The hangar was crowded with airships and flying vehicles of all shapes and sizes, attended by sharp-eyed crews from all over the world, and my eye was immediately caught by... the gilded Egyptian Ifrit class airship? Painted all over with stylized poppies and feathers, it resembled nothing more than a vast flying sarcophagus. Ooh, that'd be interesting. Do people really fly in such things? I asked an exhibitor. Indeed, hundreds of them do, and every day, he replied with a booming laugh. They say the skies of Arabia are crisscrossed with the trails of Egyptian ships. Perhaps one day soon, Monsieur Fogg and I would find ourselves flying in such a craft. I returned to the exposition center, my thoughts turning with clouds and engine rotors. Avenues sprawled in every direction between the inviting, illuminated pavilions of the exposition. Let's check out the artificer. An artificer was replacing an arc light which had burned out. She first disconnected the strange machine powering the lights. It had a spinning iron wheel which was wound around with a series of armature coils. What is that device, artificer? I asked politely, my eyes straying to the copper lily pin which proclaimed her profession. It's a bleeding nuisance, is what it is, the artificer grumbled in a thick Yorkshire accent. Oh gosh. These ground machines are finicky beasts. I'm 100% sure that is not a Yorkshire accent. Ground machines? I inquired. Well, it's a... Oh, never mind. She waved my question away. It's a steam engine, all right. Only it doesn't make steam. Will that do? I hate explaining this stuff to laymen. The harshness of her tone was belied by her gentle touch as she unscrewed the arc light's globe of enameled glass and replaced the 2 carbon rods within. She reconnected the supply, and then the 10 Dablakov candles connected in a series lit up once more. They are miraculous, I breathed. The artificer snorted. They are hard work, is what they are. Miraculous indeed. But her mouth softened into a small, proud smile. She looked at her pocket watch, cursed, and hurried off, dropping something as she went. I hurried off after her to return it, and she thanked me. My medallion! I'll need it to get to my lunch from the canteen, thank you. I bowed in return, and she giggled. Stop that, you'll make me blush. She rubbed the coin thoughtfully. I was given this for my work in Istanbul, you know. I made a very special automaton. I think it works as a driver now. On the route up from Izmir. I think that's all right. An automaton who can drive? Of course, is that so strange? I could only shrug. Who knows what is normal in this modern world? I look about me once more. Crowds of tourists jostled and heaved past, their eyes wide with wonder. I took a strolled down the Avenue of Nations, lined with buildings in the styles of the nations of the world, and manned by foreign delegates in national dress. Although the newly formed German Empire was a conspicuous absentee in the city it had so recently conquered. The Zulu Federation had built a replica village and brought a delegation of 400 diplomats and warriors, which made for a busy and impressive stand. Above the display was a fine pharaoh-type of the great emperor Kashtueo in his palace in Ulandi. One of the young impy warriors dropped his fierce look and winked brightly at a passing child, who erupted into shy giggles. "You have made a powerful friend," I remarked to the child, who seemed startled to receive this news, and ran off into the crowd. I turned away hurriedly. My feet were tiring, and the hour was growing late. I returned to Monsieur Fogg, who was eating a meal of plain boiled beef à l'anglaise. Did you enjoy the exposition? My master inquired diffidently. Having preferred a hearty meal and English newspaper to all the wonders that the modern world had to offer. "We are unspeakably lucky to live in such an age of invention," I declared. "We are unspeakably lucky to live in such an age of invention." I'm losing it, I declared. "I will certainly make it easier to win my wager," Monsieur Fogg replied mildly. I dreamed that night of mechanical wonders and automatons with beautifully enameled faces, knowing little of the strange inventions and stranger people I would soon encounter in my journey around the world. Let's plan. Okay. We want to get to Berlin, right? Shall we go to Amsterdam? Departs tomorrow. Or should we go to Munich? 2 days. Ouch. Nice, 3 days. Oh, I guess we missed our... I guess let's go to Amsterdam. All right. We took a hotel for the night. "We will be comfortable here," Monsieur Fogg remarked, "but traveling overnight will often be more efficient." Oh, lost it again. "Where possible. We cannot travel where it is not possible, certainly," he replied. "Still, the surrounds of the Hotel Ritz were most enjoyable." All right. We found a member of the Coachmakers' Guild to carry us to Amsterdam. She loaded the case onto the back, stoked the boiler, and took off at a high speed along the coastal road, swerving around each corner with a considerable skill, and I think a touch of showmanship. I clung on tight. This would be a terrific ride. Let's converse. "Greetings, driver." "I cannot drive well if you're talking to me." "What can you tell me of Amsterdam?" "The canals of Amsterdam are no longer lined with gold." "Thank you. Yes, I want to see if there's a way to get from Amsterdam to Berlin." "I believe so. Berlin can be reached from Amsterdam by private car, but the journey is a tiring one." "What about Berlin to Sartzen?" Enough talking. Alright, sorry about that then. Once or twice, metal-rimmed wheels lifted the chassis clear from the road on one side, only to bump down after a huff and puff more of the engine. We must have topped 40, perhaps even 50 miles an hour. Golly, would you believe it? A fabulous way to travel. The Polish inventor Bozik, who had first attached a perfectly decent locomotive engine underneath a flimsy wooden crate, was clearly a genius. Such cars were growing in popularity, starting from their use in farmsteads and extending up through the classes. There were those who said the contraptions would soon be privately owned and not just by members of the Coachmakers Guild. As we rattled along, I spoke to our driver about what lay ahead and learned that the fastest way to Venice is via Munich. Alright, let's go to the market. Can't sell that just yet. Lost Rembrandt. In Munich. Oh, if we make it to Munich. Wow, we got a lot out of that one. Oh, private car departs Berlin in 2 days. I think this departure could be adjusted. At 8 a.m. Alright then. I guess we could have bypassed, but we really want to sell that wine. Though the people of Amsterdam moved about its canal-side streets with a sense of optimism and good cheer, our own mission left little time for exchanging pleasantries. I found a street peddler who greeted me with a cheerful smile beneath a caterpillar-like mustache. "We are going around the world," I declared. Oh, almost got German in there. "Aha," he replied, "you are like the influenza." The peddler reached into his pocket. "Buy an apple, £1. "Sure, why not? Please." I bought it and took it with a smile. "What's the fastest way on from here?" I asked. "Car, I suppose. The roads are good, the canals used to be better, but now they seem almost out of date," he sighed. "It is a curse to be rich in the past. By the time the future rolls around, you are poor again." "Maybe you'll be rich again sometime," I remarked, more from sheer optimism than any true conviction. "What is the cheapest way out of the city?" I asked. He mused. "Most likely the hydrofoil heading north to Norway." He shrugged. "It is fine enough if you don't mind being jolted about, and it's not exactly going around the world unless you don't mind which way." "Is it fast?" 2 days, I think." I thanked the peddler and moved on. So many choices. All that remained was to choose how best to depart. With what remained of the day, I helped the kitchen staff to clean, earning £42. Embark. Yes. Our next leg was another short trip in a car. I bounded in, eager to get started. We hired the same driver as before. "You two," she exclaimed. "Get in." "What is your wish, master?" "Passepartout, there you are." It was our progress. Day 4, I believe? Early days. Uh-oh. Un moment, s'il vous plaît. How strange. We are quite comfortable. Very good. As we departed Amsterdam for Berlin, I begged Monsieur Fogg to allow me to turn at the wheel. He looked to our driver, who smiled and happily moved to one seat. The wheel in my hands was nothing like I've experienced before. Almost an electrical sensation, as though thunderstorms rippled inside the wood itself. The mechanical car drove my shearing synced. The mechanism of the car was quickly grasped. The first lever produced forward movement, the sideways lever to control our gearing and hence rate of power. The rest of the controls were evident enough. We made good time, though at the end of the day my palms were scorched and red hot. Now I know why drivers wear gloves. So yeah, you have to watch Monsieur Fogg's health as well. Some trips will take a lot bigger of a toll. We made good progress in the car. Toot, my friends, toot! Finally, we came upon the sight of tiled roofs, the harbor, and the smell of herring. We had arrived in Berlin. I bet the market's closed. Oh, it doesn't open until Monday? Bummer. Well, we'd like to get to Munich. Yeah, we'll do that. Oh, I'm so bummed we got that wine. We took this extra plan, like extra part out of our trip. We stayed for the night at the Hotel Adlon Unter der Linden, the main boulevard in the central meat district. From the window, the Brandenburg Gate was lit up by upturned gas lamps. I went for a late-night stroll along the avenue, past groups of people drinking at the low tables. I sat down beside a pair of ladies who were each trying to outdrink the other. I kept score for them, as jug by jug they slid slowly underneath the outdoor table and onto the cobblestones beneath. The evening was riotous, and I learned from my new friends, Adele and Claudia, that the most efficient way to Budapest is through Prague. We crossed from Berlin to Munich in a patched-up steam carriage. The smoke pumped out of the back through a tall iron chimney, leaving a soot-smudged wake which trailed behind us like a flag. The countryside was the very definition of bucolic. Little farmsteads with cattle byres, coal sheds, and roving automatic tractors digging up the fields. Greetings, Christoph. Don't worry, you won't distract me from the road. Let's see about Munich to Venice. What about Venice? Oh, I don't want to go backwards. To Dubrovnik. I believe so. Only one could drive by private car from Venice to Dubrovnik. But tell me, do you like trains? No. Not particularly. I prefer to stay in one place. Are you mad? Trains are the most wondrous inventions of... most wonderful inventions. Wow, my accents are all over the place. What about Dubrovnik to Meteor Valley? I believe so. To Thessaloniki. No idea. But now Thessaloniki is after the half-sister of Alexander the Great. An apple, Christoph? Most generous. Dubrovnik. Can I just say you can pick up stopwatches in Dubrovnik and sell it for a profit in Sofia? What about Dubrovnik to Baghdad? Probably. What about Dubrovnik to Belgrade? Let's go through Vienna. Wow, all the way over in Canada. One man passing called out, "You are English?" "French!" I cried back. The man's expression turned from cheer to anger. "Oh, dang!" And he began shaking his fist and throwing clods of mud in our direction. "The Franco-Prussian War," Christoph said gently. "Many of these people lost a great deal." Oh, he's not French, he's German. I can't. I sat up straighter. If I am to be despised, I will look like someone worth despising.